You feel it. You might not have the exact words for it yet, but you feel it in your gut. A quiet, gnawing sensation. A slow leak. It is always there, sitting just beneath the surface of your life. You feel it every time you scan your card at the grocery store and look at the final total. You see it every time you tear open your 401k statement. You look at the numbers. They go up a little, they go down a lot. But the knot in your stomach never goes away. It makes no sense to you. You followed the rules. You did everything right. You woke up in the dark. You worked for 40 hard years. You missed family dinners. You sacrificed. You funded the account just like they told you to. So why does it feel like you are running out of time? The financial anchors on TV smile at you. They wear sharp suits. They yell about the stock market hitting all-time highs. They point to green arrows and act like everyone in America is getting rich. But their world is not your world. Your financial advisor buys you a cup of fancy coffee once a year. He takes his 1% fee directly from your life savings. He pats you on the back and says, "Don't worry, Jim. You are on track." On track for what? He gets paid whether the market crashes or soars. You take all the risk. He takes a guaranteed cut. The experts tell you everything is fine. But the math sitting on your kitchen table tells a very different story. The cost of living is pulling away from you. The taxes are waiting for you in the shadows. You are bleeding. Listen to me carefully. This is not an accident. Your financial anxiety is not a mistake. It is not a glitch. It is not a bug in the system. It is a feature. The system is operating exactly as it was designed to operate. You still think you are a player in the game. You are not. You're not a participant in the American economy anymore. You are the yield. You are the crop being harvested. Wall Street and Washington built a machine to extract your wealth. Slowly, legally, and permanently. I know exactly how to stop the bleeding. There is a legal, mathematical escape hatch. A way to step completely outside their blast radius. But if I give you the blueprint right now, it will be useless. You will walk right into their tripwires. To understand the cure, you must first study the anatomy of the disease. You need to see the cage. To understand how they are taking your money today, we have to go back to the exact room and the exact year when they quietly rigged the game against you. There was a time when a handshake meant something. A time when a real social contract existed for the American man. You gave a company your blood, your sweat, and your best years. In return, they gave you certainty. They gave you a pension, a guaranteed paycheck that arrived every single month, without fail, until the day you died. It was a simple, honest deal. The company took all the risk. The company hired the math geniuses to manage the market. If the stock market crashed, it was their problem. Your check still cleared. Your lights stayed on. You just lived your life in peace. You fished. You restored cars in the garage. You spent time with your grandkids. You were safe. But behind closed doors, the corporate elite realized something terrifying. Keeping you safe was expensive. Pensions were massive liabilities, sitting heavy on their balance sheets. As modern medicine improved and people started living longer, the math turned against the corporations. They needed a way out. They needed a way to dump the risk from their wealthy balance sheets directly onto your shoulders. Enter the turning point. A quiet piece of legislation passed in the shadows of Washington. The Revenue Act of 1978. Most people did not notice it. The evening news barely covered it. But it was the exact moment the trap was set. This law birthed a tiny obscure provision, Section 401(k). It is the ultimate Trojan horse of modern finance. They did not sell it to you as a risk transfer. They are much too smart for that. Instead, Wall Street and Washington teamed up to sell it to you as empowerment. They told you that you were smart enough to be your own portfolio manager. They massaged your ego. To get you to bite, they used the perfect bait. A tax break. They said, put your money in here and you will not pay a dime in taxes today. Millions of hardworking American men swallowed the hook. but it was an illusion. By handing you the keys to your own retirement, they quietly transferred the two most lethal risks in finance directly to the amateur. The first lethal weapon is market risk. In the old days, if the market tanked, the company took the hit. Now, if the market drops 30% the year before you retire, your life savings is wiped out. You take the hit alone. It is exactly like putting a passenger in the cockpit of a jet during a hurricane and saying, "Good luck, land it yourself." The second weapon is longevity risk. This is the brutal fear of outliving your money. Without a pension, you have to guess how long you will live. Guess wrong, and you die broke in a state-run facility. You are forced to stretch a finite pile of cash over an unknown number of years. It is an impossible math problem, and they made it your problem. Do not lose hope. By the end of this video, I will show you how to reverse engineer this exact piece of 1978 tax code. I will show you how to build your own private pension and take your risk back down to zero. But you cannot build a defense until you know the weapon they are pointing at you right now. And trust me, the weapon is already firing. You think the problem is just inflation and fees? That's child's play. Let me show you the hidden gears of the machine and the silent partner who legally owns a third of everything you've saved. They distract you with the surface. Magicians call this misdirection. They wave a shiny object in your left hand so you do not see what they are doing to your right hand. Wall Street is the ultimate magician. They want you angry about the small things. They want you arguing over pennies so they can quietly steal the vault. We call this layer 1, the surface. On the surface, they charge you a 1% advisory fee. They hit you with a 0.5% mutual fund expense ratio. It sounds tiny. It sounds like pennies. Your advisor tells you it is just the cost of doing business. It is a lie. Over a 30-year retirement, those tiny percentages drain hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars from your family. But listen to me. That theft is just the cover story. That is just the decoy. Welcome to Layer 2, the real meat grinder. This is the hidden gear of the machine. The industry calls it sequence of returns risk. It sounds complicated. It is not. It is a leaky bucket. Imagine you retire. You finally stop working. But in your very first year of freedom, the stock market crashes. The market drops 20%. You still need to buy groceries. You still need to pay the light bill. So, you pull out 5% of your money to live on. The advisor tells you not to panic. But here is the cold, hard math. You did not just lose 25% of your money. You lost the compounding power of those dollars forever. You sold your shares at a massive discount just to survive. Your bucket is permanently broken. It is a mathematical death spiral. They call this the wealth funnel, and it only flows one direction, up to them. Now we reach the bottom of the trap. The most brilliant evil stroke of genius in modern financial history, the silent partner. You spent 40 years putting money into a 401k or an IRA. They told you it was tax deferred. You thought that was a good thing? You thought you avoided taxes. You did not avoid anything. You walked blindly into a snare. Tax deferred simply means you delayed the calculation of the tax to a future date. Think about how insane that is. You gave a silent partner a massive piece of your business. This partner took absolutely zero risk. They put in zero capital. They did zero work. But you gave the IRS a blank check. You gave them the legal right to tax you at whatever rate they decide when you finally retire. Look at the national debt. America owes $34 trillion. Do you honestly think tax rates are going down? They know exactly how to trigger the trap. When you hit a certain age, the government forces you to pull money out of your accounts. They're called Required Minimum Distributions, RMDs. You do not get a choice. You might not need the money. It does not matter. They force you to take it. Why? Because they are hungry? They want their cut? And when they force that money out, it creates something lethal on your tax return. Fake income. This fake income is the hidden dagger. It triggers a government landmine called IRMAA. IRMAA looks at your new artificially high income and instantly doubles your Medicare premiums. Your healthcare costs explode overnight. But the dominoes do not stop falling. That same fake income forces you into a higher tax bracket, which triggers a brand new tax on your Social Security benefits. They tax your savings, which spikes your healthcare, which taxes your safety net. It is a perfectly engineered closed-loop extraction system. You cannot escape it by accident. I told you there was a way out. And there is. There is a legal severing clause, a very specific mathematical financial maneuver. It allows you to fire the silent partner for pennies on the dollar. You can cut them out of your life forever before the trap finally snaps shut. I'm going to give you the exact sequence to do this in just a moment. But knowing the maneuver is useless if your mind is still compromised. A blueprint will not save a man who is terrified to build. Before we talk strategy, we need to talk psychology. Because the apex predators who designed this system are not just counting on your money. They are counting on your fear. Open any financial newspaper. Turn on the television. What do the experts tell you? Listen closely to the words they use. They say, Americans are not saving enough. They say, retirees live too large and spent too much. They look right into the camera and tell you that your financial stress is your own fault. Do you hear the gaslighting? Wall Street and Washington built this system. They built a casino where the house wins 99% of the time. They control the rules. They control the dealers. But when you inevitably lose your money, what do? They point the finger at you. They blame you for not pulling the slot lever fast enough. Let me tell you how this casino actually operates. Men in suits do not run the market anymore. Algorithms run Wall Street. Cold, dead computer code. And algorithms do not have high blood pressure. They do not get nervous. They do not feel fear. They just run the math. And the math tells them exactly what you will do. They study human psychology. They engineer market volatility on purpose. When the market plunges, the media turns on the sirens. They scream that the sky is falling. They tell you to brace for impact. They want your palms to sweat. They want you awake at 3 a.m, staring at the ceiling. You watch your life savings drop by 20% in a single week. Your chest tightens. You panic. You sell your stocks to protect whatever you have left. You tell your wife you made the safe choice. You stopped the bleeding. But you did not stop the bleeding. You fell for the behavioral trap. You did exactly what the code wanted you to do. The exact second you click sell, the institutional money steps in. The algorithms buy your life's work at a 30% discount. They thank you for the cheap shares. 3 years later, the market recovers and they keep all the profit. You missed it. It is not a market crash. It is a targeted wealth transfer. It happens every decade. Like clockwork. Look at me. You are not foolish. You're not stupid. You are a master mechanic. You're a brilliant engineer. You are a dedicated doctor. You poured concrete. You ran businesses. You fought for this country. You are a deeply capable man. But you are playing a rigged game. You are playing chess in the dark against an opponent who can see in infrared. You were trained to work hard. You were trained to provide for your family. They were trained to harvest. You never stood a chance because you never knew the real rules of the game. Until now. You finally see the cage. You see the silent partner waiting for you in the shadows. You see the psychological tripwires they laid across your path. Your mind is finally clear. The fog is gone. Now, and only now, are you ready for the escape hatch. Here is how you break the machine. Here is the blueprint to take your financial sovereignty back. Grab a pen. You do not win by fighting the machine. The machine is too big. It has too much money. It owns the politicians. It owns the media. If you try to fight it head-on, you will lose. So, you do not fight the machine. You starve it. You systematically remove your capital from their blast radius. Here is the exact 3-step sequence. Step 1. The tax-exempt pivot. You must initiate strategic Roth conversions immediately. The concept is simple. If you are a farmer, do you want to pay a tax on the tiny seed today? Or do you want to pay a tax on the massive harvest tomorrow? The answer is obvious. You pay taxes on the seed. You move your money from tax-deferred accounts to tax-free accounts. You bite the bullet and pay the tax at today's known, historically low rates. You permanently protect the future harvest from the IRS. They can raise taxes to 90% to pay off the national debt, and it will not touch you. You just fired the silent partner. Step 2. The volatility buffer. Wall Street relies on your panic. You strip them of that power by building an absolute income floor. You use mathematically guaranteed instruments. I am talking about fixed indexed annuities or maximum funded cash value life insurance. You do not use these tools to get rich. You use them to build a wall around your basic living expenses. This covers your mortgage, your groceries, your light bill. If the market drops 30% tomorrow, you do not care. You do not lose a second of sleep. Because your baseline is guaranteed, you never have to sell a single stock at a loss. You can just wait for the market to recover. You starved Wall Street of your panic. Step 3. The SSI multiplier. Because your basic needs are covered by your income floor, you do not need to claim Social Security early. You use your floor to bridge the gap. You wait until you are 70 years old. By forcing the government to wait, they are legally required to pay you an 8% guaranteed return for every year you delay. You trap the government in their own math. This requires a complete mindset shift. You are no longer playing the casino. You are building the vault. They trained you to obsess over rate of return. They want you chasing high numbers, so you take more risk. You must stop. You must focus entirely on rate of retention. At this stage in your life, it does not matter what you make. It only matters what you keep. You spent 40 years building this country. You paved its roads. You treated it sick. You managed its supply lines. You stood on concrete floors for 12 hours a day, so your kids could have a better life than you did. You did the heavy lifting. You have paid your dues. It is time to stop playing by the rules of the predators. Take your capital out of the line of fire. Build the wall. Lock the vault. Become sovereign. This channel is dedicated to dismantling the financial matrix layer by layer. The game is rigged, but knowledge is the only weapon they cannot confiscate. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. And remember, the exit is open. Now, you just have to walk through it. Disclaimer. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Every individual's financial situation is unique. You should consult with a licensed professional before making any financial decisions or implementing any strategies discussed in this video.